You got to get ready to roll off. But we got a lot of things to
Yeah.
talk about. We're going to start with the Tank Davis fight. Raj, I know you were out there. Cavante, you were in your cookout gear. You were there. I think it was a. Hold on. I think just got. I think he's still getting his ass whooped. Hold on. Somebody.
Yeah.
Raj, how did you enjoy the fight, man? I mean, I know I said he was a nobody, but he held his own for a little bit, Mr. Frank Martin.
He held his own.
No, we're not gonna do
Held
that.
his own.
He
Look,
did
bro,
for like the first 3 rounds, Dre. He did. He
bro,
won the first 3 rounds.
bro, we're not gonna do this. Look, I told y'all that Frank Martin was a pretty good opponent for Tank, but watching back, Tank had said something in the presser that kind of made sense. He told him that he told Frank that he wasn't ready. He said, "You taking this fight too soon. You should have waited to take this a little bit later. But since you won it now, I'm gonna give it to you now." And that's exactly what happened. Frank came out there in the first couple rounds, or first 3-4 rounds, firing off shots, doing his thing.
I'm about to go rob something.
Really,
Y'all know me. I'm dangerous.
exactly.
Is that what he
That's
told him?
exactly what he told him. He said he's dangerous.
Nah.
And but the biggest thing the biggest thing on this fight is this. Even though Tank wasn't really hitting him in the first 4 or 5 rounds, the one thing he did to intimidate Frank the entire fight was he just walked straight towards him. He walked straight towards him. He stayed in his face. He
He
didn't.
had him flinch.
He had him flinch. He was all over him, and he was just waiting for that one mistake, that he knew Frank was going to make, and he got his behind up out of there, and it was ugly. So, I give Frank a lot of credit. Frank fought a good fight. Fought a good fight. Yes, he shouldn't have fought Tank. I think he should have waited as well. Maybe watch Tank a little bit more. Maybe have a little bit more experience against another opponent that's up and coming like he was. But yeah, man, after he got knocked out, man, I was just like, Tank is on another level. I think Tank has finally figured out not only how to excite the crowd, of course, because he's been doing that, but he's also found out that he can beat you in multiple ways, and he has different types of styles of beating you. I mean, he can wait and whoop your behind, or he can come out the gate and whoop your behind. But either way, he finds ways to get his opponents up out of there when he wants to get them up out of there, and that's a tough thing to do in boxing. So, hats off to Tank, man. He is probably the best pound for pound fighter right now at 135/140, because I think he's going to move up. But yeah, I give Frank I give Frank a lot of credit too, because he stayed. Even though he didn't win the fight, he still held his own against Tank, but he just wasn't ready yet.
My thoughts are gonna be real quick. I just felt like like Raj said, I don't think that he was really ready. But I mean, look, Tank has taken 14 months off, his issues outside the boxing ring. So it was good to see Tank in a boxing ring, getting some of that rust off. And another thing though about this, I'm looking now to the next couple of fights. I'm thinking about right now, we went from a few years ago wondering about where boxing would be, and now we have, I think, the two faces right now of boxing, and they're not coming out of the heavyweight division. It was something that we talked about with Floyd Mayweather. These lighter boxers are the ones that are carrying it right now, and it's right now to me is Tank and Canelo. I feel like they're the two top boxers right now. And let me, before I exit, let me ask Raj, who do you think he should be next? Should it be a Shakur Stevenson? Should it be a Lomachenko? Um, there was I can't think of the other guy right now either, but those were some of the names that came up as like the next like big money fights.
Well, he said he wants to fight. It doesn't
And
matter.
Lomachenko, and I'm not, Shakur already tweeted like, hey,
Well, Shakur wants a payday, and Shakur deserves to be put on a bigger platform because he's been doing big things for like the past 3 to 4 years, and he gets the raw end of the stick, not being on pay-per-view, not being, on top spots in boxing. But I think his next opponent should be at least Lomachenko, because I think Lomachenko is pretty much his career is winding down, coming to an end. And I think that it would be a good look if they fought each other quickly and heavily. So I think that should be his next opponent. Other than that, it could be Shakur Stevenson as well, but we'll see.
Cavante, you want to hop in there? Dre, I know you'll be back.
So I really didn't think much of nothing of this fight, because we were talking about it in the previous week. I wasn't familiar with this brother. No disrespect to him, but you don't just put anybody. Exactly. You don't just put anybody in the ring with Tank. Excuse me, because Tank's a wild boy in the ring, and he's showing that he does have a little Mayweather in him, and him being a showman and him being an entertainer, and still been able to win in the end. So he's a total package. But it didn't look like Frank was ready, and he just kind of warmed down. Just warmed down. How Rod said, he warmed down, but then still waited until that right moment, and that right mistake that just some guys inevitably make against the greats, and it was nasty. It was the sleeper punch was nasty, absolutely nasty. But I don't think nobody here is surprised. Like I said, didn't know the brother, and he looked ill prepared. But I mean, it's hard to really be prepared against Tank. You know what I'm saying? But he got his money right.
And the biggest thing is he stayed on the ropes. Like he just kept going to the ropes. Like, bro, the ropes was not your friend.
Not your friend, bro. Not your friend, bro. Not your friend.
Well, let us know in the comment section down below what you think about Tank and who's next. Mark wants Garcia rematch. I can see that. Dre mentioned Lomachenko. You mentioned Shakur Stevenson. Well, one thing we know, it won't be this year because this man only fights once every 12 to 14 months.
No, he said he wants to fight somebody in November, so you might see him again before the year is up. I mean, he has took a 14-month layoff, and he needs to, if he wants to have any chance of trying to get to Floyd, he needs to start fighting at least 2 times a year or 3 at best.
I agree. Hey, look, Tank is money. He brings out the people. I'll say that. You guys know that. He knows that. You got people that go to Vegas from this area and other areas to see him fight. I know people that have done it. He had the fight here. He brought boxing to Baltimore. He is a draw. He is an attraction. So we want to see the brother continue to do well. He is now 30-0 after the win, 18-1. Frank Martin is now. We'll see what's next for Tank, and we'll talk about it on the Flex Zone when we find out. NFL news. I got a quick NFL tidbit. The AFC North, entire AFC North, will now be featured on Hard Knocks. Raj is over there smirking. This will be on HBO Max. The division best known for its heated rivalries and star quarterbacks will be featured on the in-season edition of HBO's Hard Knocks this season. It's the first time that the series has chronicled an entire division. The Ravens, the Bengals, the Browns, and Steelers all finished with winning records last year. With the quarterbacks, it will debut on December 3rd and run through the rest of the regular season and playoffs as well. It was the first division where every team finished with a winning record since 1935, Western's division. That's crazy. They combined for a 43-25 record, a 632 win percentage as well. You got Lamar Jackson, the 2-time MVP, the reigning MVP, and John Harbaugh said he doesn't watch Hard Knocks, but if you remember also, I believe the first edition of Hard Knocks, Raj, was when the Ravens won a Super Bowl, right? Mm-hmm. So you got that history, long-term storytelling. We'll see what's going on in Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, and Cleveland with Deshaun Watson and all that goofiness. And, of course, with the Ravens here. So that'll be interesting to see how it plays out, Raj. Could this be a nice ending season omen for the Ravens, possibly, as they're back on Hard Knocks, possibly?
Yeah, this is the first time since 2001, I believe. I think we were the first ever Hard Knocks um, to come to HBO. So it's full circle now, I guess. But this is going to be different because all four teams is going to be in it, and like you said, it's going to be in December. So it's going to be like a race probably to the playoffs, maybe to see who gets the number one seed or who wins the division. So it's going to be really, really crucial. I guess for the Baltimore Ravens and for other teams in our division to finish off strong. But it's really interesting. I do want to see what they do with this. I am going to be watching it. Uh, it's going to be nothing but great television. I guarantee you that. So, and you said it's coming to HBO Max, so that's even better. It's going to be in 4K. So,
Your favorite.
my favorite. So I want to see what the production is going to be about. I want to see if who they're going to follow around, who's going to be the class clown in each division, each team. I want to see the ins and outs of the struggle during the season, of course. Who may be hurt, who may not be hurt, who's having a breakout season. You know, just the players' thoughts in other ways, except when we listening. We're listening to podcasts or at 105.7 The Fan. We get a little bit of everything, so we get the pretty much in depth part of each divisional, well, each team in our division. So it's going to be probably one of the best hard knocks, I believe, since it was created. Just not because just the Ravens are in it, just because they're trying something new like they did back then. So hopefully we put on a show. Hopefully the division is doing what it usually does, which is beat up each other and make it very interesting. But in all, I hope we win a division. But it is what it is if we don't. But I know one thing: everybody's going to be tuning in to Hard Knocks to see uh, what this tough division is about.
Cavante, not only about the hard knocks, because you're from the outside looking in. Uh, I just want to throw this out there. Your quarterback was on FaceTime with a certain wide receiver. Is there any, where there's smoke, there's fire, or is it much ado about nothing with Jaden Daniels and Brandon Ayuk on FaceTime? I wanted to get your thoughts on that real quick. I know we heard about that today.
It's all speculation. Right now we already know that these two are former teammates at back in Arizona State, and they're like I said, they're good friends, good buddies. So it's not uncommon to see guys who are who's one spot that he's in, he's having some turmoil, go on some things that's not so likable, and it looking like he's on his way out, and then he has a buddy on the other coast that says, hey man, listen, something we should consider. Not because we're teammates, but I think this will also be a good fit as well. So I'm hoping Adam and again, all in Adam Peters, and Adam Peters I trust. And I know he'll make the right decision. I know there's some speculation about possibly looking into Michael Thomas, um, the possession receiver god. And but it's I'm kind of weary on that because of his history, his injury history. But I would love for Brandon Ayuk to come from the West Coast to the East Coast, and also the 49ers and the well, I was about to say the Redskins, but this Washington Commanders organization, they have typically been buddy buddy when it comes to making trades, and I'm hoping this will possibly be one that'll uh, make Jaden Daniels rookie season a little bit better, adding weapons and things of that nature. So I hope it happens, but it's all speculation at this point until Adam Peters pulls the trigger. Now, Hard Knocks. This is amazing. I like it. I really, 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 really like it. It's something new. It's something different. And what better division than to get on Hard Knocks? Because I mean that's what that division is known for. Black and blue division, hardest hitting division, the best division in all of football. All teams had a winning record. Ain't been like that in forever. I think you said 1935. Crazy. Um, but I am excited to see we'll get to see Lamar Jackson a little bit more. Look at Joe Cool or Joe Burr a little, take a little closer look at him. Maybe a little Jamar Chase. Um, but I think what will be interesting is looking at um the pitfalls that the teams have to go through and the trials and tribulations that each team will have to go through and see how they work through those things, especially those damn Browns, because they found a way to get in their own way every year. Um, the Steelers probably no, I was about to say the Steelers, well, probably not now. I was about to say the Steelers will probably be the most boring. But with Russ and Justin Fields, probably not this year. And of course, Patrick Queen coming from the Ravens to the Steelers, he gonna be talking probably.
Oh yeah.
So that's gonna be fun. And so I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that. And yeah. So I'm right there with you, Raj. Right there with you.
We shall see. As mentioned, starts on December 3rd. Yes, it will be Hard Knocks in season. They did it last year with the Miami Dolphins was in season. The Jets were the before the season, and the Miami Dolphins were in season. I think this year they're doing the Bears. Is it the Bears before the season, and then they're doing the in season with the AFC North. So yes, HBO Max and all your other streaming services that you use to get that information. But we'll talk about it as it gets closer and probably do some recaps about it as the show happens with our normal Ravens content as well. Let's go to our weekly Caitlin Clark update real quick. Raj is shaking his head. I know he had some. I laughed at what he said in the group chat earlier. I'm sure he'll probably elaborate a little bit more. But we saw this yesterday. Caitlin Clark beat Angel Reese. The Fever defeated the Chicago Sky. But we did see a flagrant one on Angel Reese. I think it was inadvertent contact or something they were saying. I want to get your thoughts, Roger, on this situation. I mean, I think now the Fever actually have a better record than the Sky. I believe. I'm looking at
I
the
think they
standings
do
correctly.
too.
Yeah, so I don't have all my bells and whistles today, everybody, so I can't do all the screen sharing. I would show the foul, but we'll work on that. But I'm sure you guys have seen it by now. But what do you think about this, Roger? You had a funny take in the chat.
Look, man, this is what I think. This ain't the first time or the last time that these two women have played against each other. I think it's much to do about nothing. Yes, Angel Reese hit her while she was going for a layup. I mean, that stuff like that happens all the time in the WNBA and the NBA. It was not a big deal, but of course, because it's Caitlin Clark, you know, we have to make it into to something else. And plus, these teams had a thing going on, the last time they played each other. But it is what it is, man. I think Caitlin Clark has won the last three meetings um, between her and Angel Reese.
Since the championship, she ain't beat her.
Since the championship, exactly. And it's much to do about nothing, honestly. It really isn't. And I just don't like the fact that, they gotta ask Angel Reese these questions, and then she comes out complaining and crying and all this other goofiness, and I'm like, ma'am, you just I mean, Caitlin had probably the perfect response to it. Yeah, she hit me. I was thinking about making the free throws. Angel Reese, on the other hand, she's complaining, whining, and bitching about just it's about goofiness. I'm like, it's just at this point, I'm sick of it. Honestly, I am, and I like Angel Reese and I like Caitlin. I like both of them. I like both women. Both of them can ball. Both of them are great players. But it's just the constant, the back and forth, and every time they hit, Caitlin is a big deal, and all this other silliness. Like, it's not needed. Like, these last two games again, well, these last three games honestly have been very competitive, very fun to watch. But it just comes down to, silly stuff that happens on the court. and I'm just sick of it. Like at this point, just play the like Jesse said when we had him on earlier. Just let the women play. Just let them play, and we just get this goofiness. The media wants to make a big deal out of everything, and it's just not needed. And it makes it makes Caitlyn look like a victim, and it makes Angel Reese look like the complete bad guy, which she isn't. So it's just silly, man. But those are my takes. That's what I was trying to say in the chat. Like this is a non-issue, but of course, since it's ESPN, they're going to make it into an issue. Oh my God, Angel Reese hit Caitlyn. Oh, the world is going to end. It's whatever, man. But I think the women do play each other again. I believe next weekend, if I'm not mistaken, in Chicago. So we'll probably be talking about that as well because I'm pretty sure something's going to happen next weekend against Caitlin Clark.
Cavante.
She is Caitlin Clark is the media's darling. I think I'll leave it at the media's darling, and I'm not gonna say the great white hope because she's nowhere near of what a Larry Bird was. So I will say she's the media's darling. And with the media's darling, it's like the little baby girl can't do nothing wrong. Can't do nothing wrong. Everything that happens to Caitlyn, oh gosh. And anytime she does something great, yay. You know what I'm saying? So and it's annoying. It's annoying, but we saw this coming. We saw this coming back in college when she lost to when Iowa lost to LSU and they still went to the White House. You know what I'm saying? Like it started ever since then. Like no matter, it's like she can do no wrong even when she loses. Like she can't do no wrong at all, and it's beyond annoying. And I agree with Roger what you saying, what Jesse said earlier. Let these girls hoop. She gotta take her lumps like everybody else. What's happening to Caitlin Clark is not any different from any other hot shot number 1 overall draft pick or hot shot incoming basketball player. And this is any sport, but sticking to basketball for sure, absolutely. If you were hot shot and you was that coming in, you got to prove yourself all over again. You know what I'm saying? And it's not an easy thing to do, and you need to have tough skin, strong mind, because it's gonna be a dogfight. It's gonna be a dogfight every night, and I think Caitlyn will eventually be all right. Not to say that she's not all right now, because again, the media is going to paint her as, oh, the woe is me, damsel in distress, and it's like, yeah, we playing basketball. she don't need saving. You know what I'm saying? She all right. She's still out there getting buckets. Now we is maybe something will come out later with about her teammates, and they not really looking like teammates towards her. Maybe hopefully that relationship will get better, but I agree with Rod, very much a non-factor. And to Angel Reese, listen, you gonna play the villain or not? Because in one voice you want to play the villain and you cool with that role, but then you can't cry about stuff on the back end. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna be the villain, go ahead, be the villain. Listen, I love to see it. Okay, you rough and rugged. You from Baltimore. You from Baltimore. You know what I'm saying? You from around the way. Show them how you ball. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead. Hit that little white girl every time she come through. Hit her every time. I'm cool with it. You know what I'm saying? Let her know you there. So Yep. Just shoot threes. Stay out there. Shoot your threes out there. Because you finna earn it when you come down here. I'm cool with it. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think both are good for the WNBA because it's conflict. The WNBA is not used to that. That's why they're getting so much attention over, and it seems like a reach, and it's goofy because WNBA is not used to this. Nobody's used to the WNBA having. That's why ESPN and all these other platforms are blowing up over this because they're not used to having young superstar players of this caliber playing ball. They're not used to it. And now, not only do we have two, we got them against each other. We got a conflict. We finally got a conflict. And you know what conflict means, Raj Byron? Money. Yes, Raj. Yes. Come on, Raj. Money. Byron, get in on this. Money. Because you know what? The NBA was dying before Magic Johnson and Bird came. And the 80s, it uplifted. Then the 90s came, then it was Jordan versus the Pistons, then it was Jordan and the Knicks, then it was Jordan and the Pacers, Jordan and Lake, and it was Jordan and everybody. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? We build off of storylines and conflict. That's how it's built off of. Whether it's the movies, whether it's sports, any type of entertainment, there's some type of conflict that needs to happen that we could gravitate to and we can pick a side. You know what I'm saying? And then once the conflict is over, then it's over. That's when the story ends. That's when the movie ends. That's when the game ends. Once the conflict is over. But if the conflict can keep going, and I think that's what they have. And the WNBA, like I said before, they're still trying to figure this out. This is their first time really been in this realm, so they're trying to figure it out, and hopefully they do figure it out so they can start carrying their own weight. You know,
we shall see. As Rod mentioned and Kavante mentioned, they will play again. I believe they're in the same division, or however the WNBA does it. I'm not 100% sure of all the ins and outs of the specifics, but they will see each other again, as Rod mentioned, as early as next week, as the teams in the WNBA continue to grow. So a lot of teams play each other multiple times. We have a new